What if the betrayal you are crying about today is the same path God will use to take you to your destiny? Joseph was a young man with a big dream, but before the dream came true, he faced betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and prison. Yet through it all, God was working. This is the story of how God can turn pain into purpose. Joseph was one of the 12 sons of Jacob, but he was especially loved by his father. Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful, colorful coat, a symbol of favor. But favor without wisdom can create problems. Joseph had dreams, powerful dreams. In one dream, he saw bundles of grain joined to his own bundle. In another dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. Joseph shared these dreams with his brothers. Instead of celebrating him, they hated him. Jealousy began to grow. The coat represented favor, but to his brothers, it represented unfairness. Joseph did not yet understand something important. Not every dream should be shared with everyone. One day, Joseph's father sent him to check on his brothers, who were tending sheep far from home. When they saw him coming, the colorful coat made him easy to recognize. Their jealousy had grown into anger. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. They plotted to kill him. But one brother suggested a different plan. They threw Joseph into a deep pit instead. Imagine Joseph crying for help. Imagine him confused. These were not strangers. These were his brothers. While Joseph sat in the pit, they calmly ate their food. Soon, a group of traders passed by. The brothers sold Joseph as a slave. In one moment, Joseph lost his family, his freedom, his future, or so it seemed. Sometimes life changes suddenly without warning. Joseph was taken to Egypt and sold to a powerful officer named Potiphar. Joseph was now a slave. But something powerful happened. Even in slavery, God was with him. Joseph worked faithfully. He was disciplined. He was honest. He refused to become bitter. Because of this, everything he handled began to prosper. Potiphar noticed. Soon, Joseph was placed in charge of the entire household. This reveals a powerful truth. Your environment does not control your destiny, your faithfulness does. Joseph's success attracted temptation. Potiphar's wife began to pressure Joseph to sin. Day after day, she tried to seduce him, but Joseph refused. He said something powerful. "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Joseph understood something many people forget. Integrity is what you do when nobody is watching. One day she grabbed his clothing and demanded it again. Joseph ran away, leaving his garment behind. But rejection turned into revenge. She falsely accused Joseph. Suddenly, Joseph's reward for righteousness became prison. Joseph was thrown into prison. He had done nothing wrong. Imagine the confusion. First betrayed, then enslaved, now imprisoned. Many people would become angry with God. But Joseph stayed faithful, and once again God's presence remained with him. Even in prison, Joseph's character stood out. The prison keeper soon placed Joseph in charge of the other prisoners. This teaches something powerful. God's favor is not limited by location. The palace does not create favor. God does. While in prison, Joseph met two officials from Pharaoh's palace. Both had troubling dreams. Joseph interpreted their dreams correctly. One would be restored. One would be executed. Before the restored official left, Joseph made a simple request. "Please remember me." But he was forgotten. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. Joseph remained in prison. This is one of the hardest seasons in life, the waiting season. When nothing seems to move, when prayers feel delayed. But God was still working behind the scenes. One day Pharaoh himself had disturbing dreams. None of the wise men in Egypt could interpret them. Then suddenly the official remembered Joseph. Joseph was quickly brought out of prison. In a single day, Joseph went from prisoner to palace. Pharaoh shared his dreams. Joseph explained, 7 years of abundance were coming, then 7 years of famine. Joseph also gave wisdom on how to prepare. Pharaoh recognized something different about Joseph. He saw God's wisdom, and in one moment, Joseph was promoted to become the governor of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. From the pit to the palace. Years later, famine spread across many lands, including Joseph's family. His brothers traveled to Egypt to buy food. When they arrived, they bowed before Joseph. They did not recognize him, but Joseph recognized him. At that moment, the dreams he had as a teenager came true, but Joseph did something unexpected. He did not seek revenge. He chose forgiveness. Joseph finally revealed his identity. His brothers were terrified, but Joseph spoke one of the most powerful lines in the Bible: "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." Joseph understood something deep. God was using every painful moment to position him for purpose. Dreams often come before difficulties. Favor does not mean life will be easy. Integrity protects destiny. Delay does not mean denial. God can turn betrayal into promotion. You feel like you are in the pit right now, stay faithful. If you feel forgotten, stay consistent. Because the same God who was with Joseph in the pit is the same God who will bring you to your palace. Like and subscribe.